Welcome to the Weekend Update for Liberty Leadership and Lies with Larry Linton. I'm back and recording in the Goat Locker studio this weekend. I had a few great days down in the Permian Basin. This contract will be exciting to execute. Although I am still working out the logistics aspect of recording the podcast while I'm out in the field and conducting this leadership coaching, but not to worry, I will find a way to make it work. Locally, here in Sevierville and Pigeon Forge, the Santa Hustle Road Race is tomorrow morning. A traffic advisory is in effect starting tomorrow morning at 7:30. Be ready for significant delays in and around downtown Sevierville all the way through to the Christmas place in Pigeon Forge Sunday morning. Also, there is a local Convention of States meeting next Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. It will be in the King Family Library located at 401 High Street in Sevierville. An Article 5 Convention of States is a method the Founding Fathers put into the Constitution for the states to be able to rein in an out-of-control federal government. If you're interested in what they are about, just show up. In statewide news, it seems our governor is so concerned about the border crisis on the southern border that he is deploying additional Tennessee Guard troops there in early 2022. The Guard is being sent to help combat the surge in deadly drugs being smuggled into the U.S. Well, where's the concern about illegal aliens being smuggled into our state? By the federal government, no less. I get it that the problems down on the nation's southern border affect every state, but why is there no definitive action by our General Assembly and the governor to stem the tide of illegal aliens being resettled into our state? It's just another example of why a vote for a Republican or a Democrat is a wasted vote. We always end up with the same old, same old. Please consider going to libertyleadershipandlies.com and donate to support my campaign to represent Tennessee's House of Representatives District 12 in next year's election. In other state news, the state's Fiscal Review Committee approved a 2-year extension for another $8 million of our sweat equity to go to a company that Tennessee's Education Commissioner Penny Schwenn's husband works for. The contract is for a teacher training program. Convenient, isn't it? The state's Education Commissioner has a contract, a no-bid one, with her husband's company to provide teacher training for a New York-based company her husband works for. Nothing problematic with that at all, is there? Right. Pull my other leg, it plays Jingle Bells. We can't forget that Dr. Penny Schwenn started her academic career in California, and all that entails. Now, we here in Tennessee have a Californian and a New Yorker working in concert with our state's education system. What could possibly go wrong with that? Nationally, there's some more news about the sniffer-in-chief's mandates failing miserably on the judicial level. And also, the U.S. Senate just voted to overturn the usurper's vaccine or test mandate for private businesses. So, we now have legislative and judicial branch setbacks for the ice cream connoisseur's executive overreach. Don't celebrate too vigorously, though. In the Senate, it was a 52-48 vote against Biden's mandate. That is how close the legislative branch of our federal government is to abdicating their legislative authority to the executive branch. Every one of the people that voted against the measure, or in other words, were voting for the executive branch's attempt to rob us of our sovereign control over our own body, were members of the Democrat Party. Democrats are the true fascists. Never forget that. So don't count this vote as a victory. Count it as a rallying cry to replace every single elected representative that believes the people work for and are subjects of the federal government. It is a rallying cry for every citizen to remind these elected officials that they only govern with the consent of the governed, and they no longer have our consent. Before I close the update, I have to comment on the judicial system. They got it right again in Juicy's case. Old Juicy Smollett, if he gets sent to jail, he will end up sharing a cell with his own attacker. Sweet justice, don't you think? Until next week, this has been the Weekend Update of Liberty, Leadership, and Lies with Larry Linton. I pray you all have a wonderful weekend. Stand in the arena with me. Reveille. It's time to wake up.